Hey everyone, Crisis here. I know. I said I'd do the Avengers if y'all asked, and I still might the next time I'm in a Marvel mood, but for now, I've been rewatching the early seasons of Young Justice, reading Jeff Johns as well as the current Tom Taylor Titans book, so it's still DC time for now. In fact, today, I'll be ranking the most iconic lineup of young heroes, that being the roster of Marv Wolfman's new Teen Titans, looking at the highest level of power they've gained within the modern-day DC main comic continuity, and ranking them from least to most powerful. That lineup being Nightwing, Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, Cyborg, Donna Troy, and Wally West. I'll be analyzing their feats of strength and power scaling with just enough backstory and plot summation for the average comic book reader to grasp the power ranking therein. Starting from the bottom is, unfortunately, Beast Boy. While being an incredibly versatile character with a lot of potential and a handful of impressive showings, even at his peak, you'd be hard-pressed to call Gar a heavy hitter among the Titans. In the 90s for a time, Beast Boy or Changeling actually lost the ability to turn into animals, instead taking on demonic and monstrous forms, a power he maintains to this day. However, there obviously exists a wide range of power between demons in DC's cosmology, ranging from fodder to beings like Trigon. We can't just assume that Gar can become these higher tiers, especially as he never does. While this could be considered Beast Boy's peak, as he noted that taking on these demonic forms made him feel invincible, in reality he was far from it, with the likes of Starfire and Donna Troy still being upheld as the strongest Titans at the time, even in their base forms. The next super form of Gar's was shown in the Rebirth era. After the Source Wall was destroyed, much of its energies radiated out onto Earth, causing Beast Boy's power to go slightly haywire, leading to his being stuck in a bestial state, kind of similar to the 2003 cartoon, that one episode, with his rage affecting his mass and likely his overall power. Still though, the likes of the second Steel were capable of one-shotting him in this form, who would again be below even the normal forms of Donna Troy or Raven as an example. This is still the case even when considering his connection to the Red, or the energy field binding all life forms, which has been used by others to great effect. In the case of Beast Boy, just being connected to a power source doesn't scale you to it in its totality, as shown by the fact that while being linked to the Red even still, he lacks the feats of other more proficient users such as Animal Man. Honestly, the best he has going for him outside of this is the one time, alongside everyone else, Black Adam empowered him with some unknown portion of his own magic. However, don't fret, as soon with the upcoming Beast World event, we're told that Gar will become the greatest threat to our heroes yet. So if that's the case, he'll be like way higher, like above the creators of the multiverse if taken at face value, as unlikely as that probably is. Above Beast Boy, we have Starfire, whose strongest amped state would likely be her new god form as seen in Justice League Odyssey. Being natively one of the most powerful Titans, her strength would be increased as she was turned into a new god by the villainous Darkseid, hoping to use her incredible strength as a primary instrument in his forces. Starfire would at least be up there with the likes of Big Barda or Orion, other new gods serving a similar purpose under Darkseid's regime at one time or another. This is also shown through her multiple victories over Orion, the son of Darkseid and new god in his own right, strong enough to go toe-to-toe with his father in pre-Flashpoint events. This is per a time traveler having viewed the new god's death at her hands multiple times over, which albeit was prevented via this information being shared with the past versions of the heroes. Still though, she would be capable of this feat. Starfire's transformation is also a similar situation as faced by the Justice League and Darkseid War, as seen in my prior video, at being made a new god. Usually Starfire sits in a tier just approaching the likes of Superman or Wonder Woman, so it wouldn't be a stretch to say that with this comparable new god level amp, she'd be within the same tier as those stronger than usual New 52 New God versions. Donna Troy, or the first Wonder Girl, has enjoyed many empowerments and alternate personas, from Greek Titan of Myth to intergalactic member of the Dark Stars. However, coupled with her ever-growing Amazonian constitution, as well as her being infected by the Batman Who Laughs toxin, Donna would reach her peak as the Deathbringer. As noted with the likes of Blue Beetle, this variant of Joker venom at the very least brought forth all of one's inner and deadliest urges, with Donna in this form outdoing the prior mentioned Bestial Beast Boy, Steel, who could in turn zero diff Garfield, and Miss Martian, who had been stated to be the most powerful among those prior mentioned. She even blitzed and one-shot Raven, later contending with the 2019 era Man of Steel. Given the fact that Superman, for the most part, grows ever stronger as the years go by, this would place her above Starfire. Considering that even the likes of New Gods have been handily dealt with by Superman in years prior, even his own form seen in Darkseid War would stand little chance against the current Man of Tomorrow. In fact, Superman around this time defeats the same Darkseid that enthralled the New God version of Starfire, so by now the Man of Steel's raw strength would surely far surpass Kori's, and so too therefore would Donna, per her ability to contend with and overpower this same Superman. Surely he's holding back here, as these are kind of darkened versions of people that he knows are good at heart. However, that shouldn't really be relevant. The gap between even a conservative rebirth Superman is pretty large when compared to post-crisis Superman, which is more or less the level that Orion kind of operates at. To even further drive this point, Batman and Superman as well both agree that, at least in this form, Troy's threat level rivals that of Wonder Woman herself. Again, one of the most powerful heroes in existence, who can consistently clash with the likes of Ares, someone who can bully Highfather, who is pretty much a perfect match for Darkseid throughout all of DC's continuity. Darkseid, of course, being the being which empowered Starfire, as previously mentioned. So essentially, as the Deathbringer, Donna would be able to swap hands with the two most powerful members of the Justice League: Cyborg, the certified QB of the Titans, as well as the Justice League. In 2018's Justice League number 33, we see Victor Stone finally embrace the true power of the Mother Box, which had been imbued within him since the start of the New 52. In this new form, dubbed Cyborg 1,000,000, he begins to harness power directly from the multiverse itself. With this connection to the cosmos, Victor can even access Hypertime directly. Hypertime essentially being an infinite set of alternate timelines, positioned above and beyond the reach of multiverse rebooting events, such as Crisis on Infinite Earths. This level of strength immediately strikes fear within the Darkest Knights, essentially evil multiversal versions of the Justice League, who had all previously beaten their heroic counterparts. Cyborg being at this level is actually consistent, as later on into Scott Snyder's Justice League run, we see Vic apparently effortlessly deal with a possessed John Stewart, who had himself just beaten Aquaman, Barry Allen, and Wonder Woman all back to back. So with a greater connection to his new god, Element X power source, Cyborg is capable of beating multiple of the strongest members of the Justice League, one after the other, all by himself, including of course Wonder Woman, who Donna Troy was just previously compared to. Keep in mind, this is likely his new base form as well. When pushed, he's been shown to easily access these godly resources of energy. He's unironically top tier. Nightwing, the undisputed goat of the entire DC universe, was empowered by a Lord of Hell called Gnarrk in issues number 103 and 104 of his current run. In this very story, despite being weaker than Raven in terms of conventional strength as shown in prior issues, Gnarrk was able to amplify the likes of Gorilla Grodd's mental powers to greater than that of Raven's defenses, meaning that either he's grown more powerful, or as strange as it might sound, the demon has the capacity to boost another being's power beyond his own. Which would likely be the case with Superwing, who was given a connection to the Speed Force as well as the powers of a Kryptonian, with Superman and Wally West being shown in the issue to represent such. It should also be said that Gnarrk, as far as we know, does not have a connection to the Speed Force, so he can pretty blatantly give people power, and likely levels of power that he himself does not benefit from, or natively possess. Given this, Nightwing would boast speeds greater than that of Barry Allen, as Wally is definitively the faster of the two, and the power and abilities of a 2023 era Superman, so stronger than the likes of beings who Cyborg defeated, seeing as he only dealt with Barry and Diana from 5 entire years prior. Again, Wally's pretty much always been a faster Flash than Barry, and Superman would be considerably above that past Diana, as much time has passed, with the last son of Krypton being called stronger than ever. So even if you consider Superman and Wonder Woman to have equal level of power, this Superman that Nightwing's being compared to would be stronger than that Wonder Woman. Wally West even considers this form of Grayson to possess ultimate power in his own words, which is insane praise considering Cyborg's on the team, with Super Wing reacting fast enough to bypass the neuron-amped Grodd's mental attacks, which downed Starfire and Cyborg, meaning at this state he'd likely be too swift for the earlier entries on this list to even react to. Nightwing even thought of running Neuron's fade immediately after being granted his powers. While this level of strength didn't last long, it definitely did suit the Bright Knight. In the Flash Forward miniseries, the third Flash would come into contact with the Mobius Chair, new god technology granting one the infinite knowledge of the multiverse, as well being imbued with a measure of Dr. Manhattan's power. Said entity boasting not only the ability to effortlessly one-shot pretty much the bulk of DC's heroes with a single attack, including Donna Troy, Hal Jordan, Barry Allen, Supergirl, Shazam, Big Barda, Martian Manhunter, and even Nightwing. But he could also alter and rewrite large chunks of the multiverse on a whim. The New 52 reboot was in large part born out of Manhattan's power over time and reality, with Wally even beginning to go as far as to perform a similar feat, fixing the discrepancies between the New 52 and Rebirth era continuities, all before being caught unawares by the Elder God-empowered Batman Who Laughs, thus being stripped of the bulk of this unfathomable level of strength. However, when boasting this power, I think it's safe to say that he should be capable of reproducing the bulk of Manhattan's feats, considering he performed them all so casually. Even without all of the good Doctor's energy, the fact that he could simply hand-wave away Earth's mightiest heroes, plus the fact that Wally was just seconds from performing something similar to the end of Doomsday Clock, essentially, Wally could either blow up or even retcon everyone below him into never existing at all. The true fastest man alive would safely be the second strongest Titan at his peak. And at number 1, the most powerful Titan, when accounting for their ultimate forms, is Raven as the Unkindness. Try to follow me here, but in the Future State timeline, which is a possible future of the Infinite Frontier main continuity, after absorbing the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse and the powers of Shazam, Raven becomes an embodiment of destruction. Losing her humanity, becoming the very thing she always feared, the Daughter of Darkness begins her quest to bring an end to all life in the multiverse. Millions of years into the future, after consuming and absorbing the most potent power sources across the realms, devastating the Speed Force, the Sphere of the Gods, and eventually everything else. After putting the Lords of Order and Chaos under her heel, such as the entity dwelling within the helmet of Dr. Fate, she assembles a legion of underlings capable of tearing apart Superman 1,000,000, essentially a version of post-crisis Superman who had resigned himself to resting within the sun, growing in power for millions of years. The quintessence, a collective of powerful and influential beings, such as the Wizard Shazam, retreated into a pocket realm, with their only course of action in the face of the unkindness being to simply bide their time and restart the multiverse after Raven had erased it all. The wizard himself would later fall in battle with her, their hiding spot being discovered. Time itself would fall, as beings originating from the future would have their existence consumed as the unkindness fed on the very continuum. Many eons passed until within the pages of Immortal Wonder Woman, where even the gods had abandoned the realm, even the presence, Apocalypse fell, with Darkseid considering this evolution of Raven to be the anti-life equation itself. Finally, the Daughter of Trigon would consume everything, leaving Wonder Woman, the last leaguer and descendant of the gods, to restart reality. Now, usually I would not include these kind of weird multiversal variants as expressed in the hundreds of comments about the Batman Who Laughs in my prior video. However, Future State was fairly unique, as for every concept ignored in the main timeline, another was embraced. This is the case with the unkindness, as within the pages of Dark Crisis the Deadly Green, we see Raven begin to take this form, lamenting that if she were to give up her humanity to touch the darkness within, she'd lose herself to it forever, showing an image of the unkindness form she'd take on. The issue's writers as well all worked on Future State books, wherein the unkindness originated, so it's not a stretch in my opinion to say that the main canon Raven's peak would be represented by this future version. Jeremy Adams also went wild on Twitter, stating that the unkindness is more powerful than Perpetua, the mother of the multiverse, nothing can stop her, that she's the strongest thing in any universe and can even absorb the Overvoid, on a level beyond cosmic armor Superman type-ish. So if she saw it fit, if she lost control, every hero, villain, god, and otherwise would be nothing before Raven's ultimate power. With all that said, I hope you were all surprised and each learned something. What most interested me when looking into the topic was just how weird and depressing the Future State timeline is. I'll probably be looking more into the fate of all the different characters they're in. Let me know down in the comments what you most took away from the video and what you'd maybe like to have explained in the near future. Be sure to join my Patreon to support the channel, watch backups of my live streams, and get access to my Discord server. Over 200 members and growing. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.